Listen, we celebrate all business owners on this show. The Business Shower Podcast, a space where business owners can shine. Building systems has to be a way of life. Having your own business just never felt so good. It's time to stop relying on 9-to-5s to take care of our families. Shout out to all business owners, because you know what? We are the real villagers.
All right, and welcome to the Business Shower Podcast, a podcast for business owners to shine. Today we have Dani with us, right? Dani, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell our listeners who you are and what your business does.
Thanks. So I am Dani Rosenblad James, and originally I'm from the US, but nowadays I live in Sweden, and I married a Swede, thus half of my last name is Swedish.
Okay.
So I have a few businesses. So I have my travel blog, which is misfitwanders.com. I'm also an influencer, so that's kind of plays off of the travel blog. Plus, I'm a sustainable travel expert, and I'm an author. And at the moment, I am writing an upcoming book that is loosely based on my traumatic brain injury.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's dive into what made you want to become an entrepreneur.
I think it's because since I was young, probably my first job, I was like, I don't really like working for other people. I want to be my own boss. And so I've known this pretty much my whole life. And also my dad, he had his own company. So I also grew up with him not having a boss and him being able to do what he wanted whenever. And then my mother actually retired to work for him to make it more of like a family business. And so that I think also helped me decide that, yes, I want to do that, but not their business, my business.
Yes. It's very hard working for someone. I'm not even gonna lie. It definitely is hard working for someone. So what do you enjoy most about being an entrepreneur?
Your own schedule.
Yes.
I think that is probably the best because it's like, yes, I work a lot. However, I have all the time that my kid is back from school free to be with him. And then it's usually when he goes to bed, then I have some more work to do and things like that. Because in Sweden, the time difference makes it a little difficult if I'm trying to talk with people in the US. And
Yeah, it definitely does. I get that. Okay. So what are did you go to school? Did you go to school formally, meaning did you get a bachelor's degree in anything before you started your business?
Actually, no. So when COVID happened, that's when I kind of had to reevaluate my life because it's a travel blog, so no one was traveling. So I actually started going to school to become an English teacher, which I'm still doing. Is just a break right now, and school's going to be starting up again. Then I will get my degree in that. But it's not my passion like the travel blog. So
yeah. So what made you start a travel blog?
I think it's because of the first trip I had when I went out of the country solo. And that was when I went to meet up with my friend, who's now my husband, in Peru.
Okay.
Yeah, and I started it up as a personal journal online so I didn't have to bring a book with me or something, and so I could share it with family and friends. And then it was years later, I realized, oh, wait, I could turn this into a travel blog. I could make this like a business. So that really made it for me.
Okay. So the pandemic happened, right? And no one was traveling because of COVID, right? How did that affect your business?
It plummeted.
Okay.
That's why I was reevaluating my life. Like, what am I going to do now? And then I started school, but I never gave up totally on the travel blog. And then it
Yeah.
was, I think, a year after COVID, then I started picking it up again. And then it started getting traction again. And now it's doing really well. I'm just now starting to expand it. So, because I had it more focused on Sweden, like hikes and
Okay.
outdoor adventures specifically in Sweden, and then
Okay.
eco friendly traveling. And now
Okay.
I'm branching out to other countries with that still in mind, with outdoor adventures, hiking, and sustainable travel or responsible travel. So,
Okay. 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 So, when you started the travel agency and got into the travel business, did you have a mentor, or did you just kind of say, hey, listen, I'm going to do this? Did you register with a travel agency? Did you register with one of those small business travel companies? Because I know we have a lot of people who want to do that. So it's good to share your journey, how you got started in that,
yeah.
so they could, you can maybe inspire someone else.
Yeah. So mine's a little different than what a lot of people are thinking of when they're thinking of a travel agency. Because it's
Yes.
like, I don't have any connections with companies or anything. So, like, what I'm doing is I'm talking to people one on one and I'm giving them advice like, oh, these are these kinds of businesses, hotels, and tours in this country you're trying to go to. So, maybe
Mm-hmm.
you'd want to use those ones if they're trying to be more sustainable. So,
Okay.
it's more, I guess it's more like a coach of
Okay.
traveling
Travel
in a
coach.
way.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. I actually like the way that sounds. I hired a travel coach to go, blah, 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 blah.
yeah,
Okay.
but
All
yeah,
right.
so
So it's
it's
more,
like, oh, sorry.
no, I was just going to say, so it's more of a travel coach
Mm.
type of thing. Okay. Okay. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, because I've tried, I think, a couple different times now to actually do a travel agency,
Mm-hmm.
and I kept finding out that they aren't so great with the eco-friendly part aspect of it yet.
Yeah.
Um, and so that kind of made me go hesitant and everything. Plus, since I'm in Sweden, you can't get the degree or the certificate
Oh.
here with all the companies I
Um,
kept reaching out to. Um,
okay.
so, and I was already like, it's okay then if they're not, because that's kind of going away from what I stand for and something that I believe in is important. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
So with that being said, what makes you get out of bed and continue to be your best self every day?
Affirmations and my son.
Okay. So you recite affirmations every morning.
Yes, every morning,
Okay.
every afternoon, and evening.
Okay. How did you train yourself to do that?
This is actually a new thing.
Okay.
However, I've already been doing self care, and I think I'm on 97 days today with my self care. And with my self care, it's thank you. And I do some kind of workout. It was nature walks, but it's super cold here. So now I turn into
Yeah.
yoga.
Okay.
And a
Okay.
gallon of water, yeah, a gallon of water a day, watch what I eat,
Mm.
affirmations and visualizations. So I
Okay.
just upped it, and now I made my affirmations 3 times in the day instead of just
Okay.
the one time. And I've also added self study. So I'm learning
Mm.
more about mindset and us as human beings. And it's been amazing. I can't
Yeah.
believe all of the connections I'm making out of pretty much nowhere.
Hmm.
and it's like the only thing I've been doing differently is pretty much the self studying. So I'm like,
Yeah. Okay. So wait, with that being said, right?
Hmm.
Um, self-care. Why is self-care important to you?
Well, that's probably because of my traumatic brain injury that I had. That
Okay.
was 9 years ago. And
Okay.
did you want the details on it?
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Okay.
you're going to
Okay.
inspire someone that may be going through something.
Yeah. So my traumatic brain injury happened when I was in the US. And
Okay.
this was about 9 years ago. And I was the last one in a 7-car pileup. So
Wow.
what happened was my head was cut open here. So I have a scar there. It's open gash and everything. And I had to be helicoptered to Salt Lake City, Utah from Wyoming. And I was in intensive care unit for 10 days. I had to relearn how to walk and pretty much use my brain. Um, yeah, it was very difficult dealing with that. And then there was one thing that I was very adamant on, and that
Mm-hmm.
was I didn't want any pain medication. And of
Okay.
course my doctor looks at me like I am nuts. And I'm like, no, 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 because I felt very lost in myself, like I didn't feel like me, but I
Mm-hmm.
remembered that the me I am, I would overdo it, especially if I didn't feel the pain. And I know if I didn't feel the pain, I would overdo it and hurt my body for the long run. And I didn't
Mm.
want that. So,
Okay. Okay. So that's why you have a big focus on self-care.
yeah.
Um, okay. Okay. Wow. 7-car pileup. That is scary.
Yeah, and
Jesus.
I'm very lucky that I survived and didn't have to get a blood transfusion. I didn't break any bones. All I
Wow.
had, I guess I say all I had. It was 4 concussions and the traumatic brain injury and a fractured neck. So I
Hmm.
mean, all
But
that.
you're
That's
still
not bad.
yeah, but
Yes.
you're still here. And look at you.
Yeah.
You're starting a business. Well, you started
Mm,
several businesses, right?
mm.
Oh my God. God bless you. I would probably be still crying and thinking about that, you know. But that's neither here nor there, right? You're here.
Mm.
So let's talk about what your biggest failure was and what you learned from that failure.
Phew. My biggest failure. Oh man. I think my biggest failure, which I'm still working on fixing, is I'm my worst enemy. So it's like
Mm,
when things are really getting down, I don't fully give up, but I talk down to myself. And I think that's
mm,
another reason why I probably started doing the self-care as well, because I know I can be my worst enemy, and it sucks.
mhm,
So that's a
mhm,
huge thing that I do is daily in the mirror is when I do the affirmations. So I look at myself and I say them and I'm like,
mm,
you are beautiful. I love you. Like all of these things. And at first I felt really silly and I was like, oh, I don't believe this crap. But
mhm.
now since I've been doing it so much, I actually get pumped up and I'm like, yeah, yes, I do got this and all this stuff. So
Yes. Yes. You know what? It's all about training the mind, right? So the
mm,
mind knows like when you first started, oh, you're trying to trick me. No, that's not the case, this and that. But
mm,
once the mind is trained and it says, all right, no, you are this. You are, whatever you're telling yourself you are every morning. And it gets into that repetitive thing and it's so interesting. It's so interesting how you could be your worst enemy, your own worst
mm.
enemy. And it's crazy. A lot of people don't realize that, but it is definitely the truth. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so I have a question, and I ask this question to everyone that comes on my podcast. Well, these series of questions. It's actually a series of questions. So what were the best resources that helped you along the way in your businesses?
I think I would have to say conferences. So networking, meeting
Okay.
other people in similar fields or in your field. Um, and I went to Spain to Tbex for a travel blog conference there. And I met
Wow.
such great people and then made great connections with some companies and worked for them a little bit here and there,
Mhm.
and got my name out there a bit more. So I think
Yeah.
that is something that should be on everybody's radar when it comes to being an entrepreneur in whatever field it is.
Okay. Okay. So conferences, any
Hmm.
other resources that helped you? What about, because since the pandemic, right, we have
Yeah.
a lot of online conferences that happen.
Yeah.
And there seems to be more and more of that happening,
Hmm.
especially here at the business shower. But what do you think about online conferences? Because it's a good way to meet with people in other countries and other
Hmm.
states, even in the same state sometimes. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's great. I love how so many people are taking advantage of technology. Like another
Yes.
resource that I've been using a lot is actually AI, which a lot of people are like up and down with. And I
Mm-hmm.
get it. However, I've saved hours and hours of work doing
Yes.
things that are more minuscule, like just
Mm-hmm.
writing a little bit here and there of
Mm-hmm.
just all of these things. Because it's like when you're a travel blogger and probably other businesses, you're promoting on so many different social media platforms. And on top
Mm-hmm.
of that, you need to be on some kind of schedule. So
Mm-hmm.
scheduling is a very good tool as well. Um,
Yeah.
and then I am soon going to be looking for an assistant with this stuff, and that will help me tremendously. Give
Yes,
me
it will.
so much less stress.
Yes, yes. It's always good to have an assistant. We
Mhm.
are doing the same thing here. Come second quarter, we will be looking for a actually we're gonna bring on an intern. So but it's gonna be a paid internship because I feel like I'll get the best out of that person, right? If they're getting paid instead of getting some, credits. So
Mm.
speaking of technology, what
Mhm.
tools and softwares do you use every day?
I think that would be Chat GPT.
Yes, that is a little gem, everybody. Make sure
Uh,
you write that down. Okay, go ahead. What
yeah.
else?
Another one would be Tailwind, Tailwind app. Now, this is for Pinterest specifically, usually. And they have it where it can be connected to Pinterest, and I think they actually have it connected to Instagram too, but I just don't use it for that part of it. And it makes it really easy with Pinterest because you can get that on an automatic repetition, and then you can put it on how many times it shows up on the specific folders and everything. So it
Okay.
makes it so convenient where you don't have to keep going pin, 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 pin all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay.
let's see. Another one would have to be I've been actually using Meta Business, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
one that's under Facebook. So that one connects to Facebook and Instagram. So then I get
Yes.
my Instagram and Facebook scheduled both on those. And a lot of these platforms now that schedule actually have like AI there too. So
Yes.
they're taking advantage of AI as well, which is great.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Okay. So I will put all of those links in the show notes just so you guys can have that. Is there any other tools or technologies that you would like to share with our guests you
Yeah,
can think of?
I would have to say CapCut. Now that one's a
Okay.
great one for
Yeah.
TikTok and
Mhm.
Instagram. That one
Yeah.
I don't use so frequently just because I like using my computer for editing and things, and I can't do
Yeah.
that here in Sweden because I want to use the templates and everything, and it doesn't work on the
Hmm.
computer, so I'd have to use my phone, and
Wow.
it's just sometimes I
Yeah.
do, but
Hmm. Okay.
yeah, I think
So,
that's about it.
okay. So we know we're in a recession, right? This is
Mm.
like the longest recession in the world, right? I feel like we've been here since 2020. But are there any pain points that you're dealing with today?
Let's see. I guess it's kind of like the fluctuation with the audience I have for my travel blog. And
Okay.
that's usually comes with the seasons too, though. So
Mm-hmm.
since it is winter time, it's not as many. And even
Mm-hmm.
if I'm writing about the hotter places, my blog's first focus was Sweden. So
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't change season here, here the weather.
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't even so it gets really cold there.
Mm.
Like what's the
Yes,
temperature
and
outside
dark.
right now? Oh.
Well, right now, I don't know in Fahrenheit, but
Okay.
it's probably like -10 Celsius. But the
Okay.
other day, it was the coldest it's been for a long time, and that was -28 degrees Celsius.
Oh my God.
And we
Okay.
actually didn't have water in our house for 2 days because it
Oh
was
no.
frozen. Yeah, our water
Yeah. I
comes
was just
from our water comes from a well. So
oh my God. I would have had a fit. I probably would have had a small fit. But you know what? It's getting cold here too. I think we're gonna have I live in Jersey. I think we're gonna
mm,
have a bad winter, a really bad winter because I'm starting to see a lot of like snow showers
mm.
happening. So I think we're gonna have a really bad winter. That's so I love the snow, right? But it can snow once and then that's it. I'm like, okay, I'm over it. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So let's talk about the book that you have coming out, right?
yeah,
Can you tell us a little bit about this book and when it comes out? This
sure.
is your time to shine as far as promoting your book.
Sweet. Thank you. So, my book that's going to be coming out is going to be coming out at the end of July, and it's going to be The Wandering Heart, and
Mhm.
the title is still a work in progress. And let's see, it is loosely based on my traumatic brain injury and how I overcame
Okay.
that. So, the
Okay.
reason that I'm writing this book is I want to inspire people out there. And I
Mm.
know that my story of my traumatic brain injury will inspire loads because this is a huge topic I talk about when I go on
Mhm.
podcasts. And
Yeah.
it always tugs at some people's strings. And I'm
Mhm.
like, yes, I'm glad because I know that means it's going to help so many other people.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And that's why I said when you asked if I wanted you to share, I'm like, yes, because it's gonna inspire somebody's gonna be listening and they're gonna be like, you know what? This little thing that I'm going through is nothing compared to what Dani went through. So guess what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep going, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what we promote here at the Business Shower. So, with that being said, let's as we wrap up, right? I want to give
Mhm.
you the opportunity to be able to promote your business and get your business out there.
Yeah. So my business is misfitwanders.com. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, kind of all over the place. And then you can also contact me on my website or Instagram. Those are probably the best ways.
Okay.
And I just want to say to everybody that, when it comes to a business, you have to be persistent and believe in yourself and just don't give up. It's gonna get hard. That's life, but just keep pushing forward.
Yes. Thank you for the positive words to my listeners. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And thank you for being on my show today. And thank you for sharing your story with us.
Mhm.
Um, I'm going to put all of her contact information in the show notes, guys. Is there anything you would like to say before we wrap up?
Let's see. I guess I'd have to say positivity is key. That's kind of
Ah,
my go-to is like if you see something bad happening in your life, there's
mm,
always another side to it. There's always a good and a bad. That's one of the main laws of the universe of our world.
yeah.
Is when it
Yes.
goes up, it goes down, left, right. Like, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what? Just to piggyback off of that, it can't rain forever, right?
Yes, that's a great
Cannot.
one.
Yes, it can't rain forever. Thank you so much again, Dani. And
Mhm.
that is a wrap for us today here at the Business Shower. Until next time, peace.